develop
Okay.
that.
You're good to go
I'm
now,
calling this to
President.
order.
To do it.
Arnold,
Here.
Beckwith,
Here.
Cheng,
Here.
Farkapisi,
Here.
Kotsinis,
Here.
Linsdau,
Here.
Sutton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Warren Newport Public Library District provides the community with access to information, kindles the imagination of children and adults, and supports lifelong learning. Anyone want to speak in public comment? Okay, no correspondence, but there's these. Does everyone have one of these, or do they need to go around? Oh, they do. Okay, so this is just the reaction to the article that we got in our packets. Reached a lot of people.
Sure did.
Okay, consent agenda. Anyone want to remove anything? Okay, can I have a motion to approve as presented?
I'll move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay, President's report, page 19. Questions, comments, concerns? Anyone else have a report?
Just wanted to say that I was here for the dinosaurs event this
Yeah.
Saturday. It was really fun. And I'd like to thank the Friends for putting that on for us.
Awesome.
Did you go by yourself or did you?
Oh, I brought the two littlest with me. They enjoyed it immensely.
Because I could certainly see you enjoying that
Yeah.
by yourself.
Possibly, but not this time.
Anyone else?
We came as well, but my children were a little bit less well behaved. We had to leave early.
Our children never did that, right, Andrea?
No, they never pulled books off the shelves.
No,
and-
no, yeah. Yeah, that's what you gotta do, you gotta go home early. Okay, you're up.
It's never happened with my kids when we were here for library events, I'll tell you. Just kidding, it happens all the time, okay.
Yeah, we've seen your kids.
Yeah. So as per the executive director's report, I'm just passing this out. This is just something that's on the website now. So the Great Communications team took the timeline that you saw before and turned it into really a nice work of art. And one of the things that Sandy, who's our head of communications, thought of that I hadn't thought about really at all doing with the strategic plan was we should brand this a little bit. So they created a logo and just a slogan, which we thought was pretty general for our strategic plan, which was fine. And even though I would have liked to have shared this with the board beforehand, we felt since the Inside Eagle was coming out, we had to move quickly. So so we I don't think there's anything objectable about that. So so this is on the website. We're still working on getting the survey online. We're working on SurveyMonkey, so that's just about ready to go. And we've had some pretty good responses in terms of our community agencies getting some kind of some site visits so we can engage people one-on-one for those surveys. So it's moving along. So that's an update. So if you go to wnpl.info/stratplan2020, you can see the website and where you'll see the logo and the timeline, a link to the last strategic plan, some other info.
But that's not on here, right?
That's not on here, no. It's in the inside angle that you should have received, so,
Sitting at my house.
yeah. So the link is in there.
Okay, anything you want to say specifically about your report then, besides that?
I don't think so. Any questions about anything in the report?
No? Okay. Then we're on to the levy ordinance. You wanna-
Sure. Yeah, so if you go to page 34, you'll see the cover memo, and then obviously, actually that's on page 33, and then the ordinance starts on page 34. So just to give this some context, so if you go to page 36, how does the levy ordinance work? What does this mean? Does this aggregate sum mean that that's what we're actually going to be levying at the end of the day? Does that mean that's what we're going to receive for income for the next budget cycle? No, that's not what it means. First of all, one of the things that some new board members may not realize is that the debt service that's in the levy, it's going to be abated. So that's not something, whenever the library originally took out that debt in 2010, the board at the time said, this isn't something that's something we're going to absorb. So when we look at the budget each year, we're absorbing that debt. So that's going to get abated. So that leaves about 6.3 million. But that's not what we're going to get either, because there's a tax cap, as probably most of you know. So essentially what we're going to get is the CPI increase, which is 1.9%, in addition to a little bit of new growth. So it's a kind of a complicated formula without getting into it, how it's calculated. The EAV for next year is multiplied by what's called the limiting rate, which incorporates that CPI, and that's the result of what's actually levied. EAV, we're estimating, is going to go up about 3%. That's an estimate, though. It's not an exact science, so it's going to go up a little bit. So we'll get probably, if you have to make me give a guess, based on the calculations I did, maybe another $100,000 in the budget income compared to this year. But that could change based on what the EAV is, that type of stuff. So that's kind of an overview. So I just wanted to give context to that number and what that number really means, because that's not the number we're actually going to get, even though that's what's in the levy. Any questions, comments? Yeah.
I'm gonna ask, just to make sure,
Yeah.
other people may be embarrassed to ask. What is EAV and CPI?
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. Equalized assessed value. So that's basically the value of all the property in the library district. That's a great question. And CPI is the Consumer Price Index. When the way Illinois law is written, we can. It's the limit of what is it? Is it 5% or the CPI, whichever is smaller? So I guess. I have not experienced this, and maybe a time I will if the the district is growing and the EAV is growing, but since I've been doing this, it's pretty much been locked into the CPI in terms of the calculations. So
No, I appreciated your memo explaining it a little bit. It was very clear.
yeah, trying to keep it simple, because it's complicated. When you start to look at it, but I think as you start to break it apart, just look at it piece by piece, it makes more sense.
Okay, anyone want to make the motion? New business A?
I move that ordinance 2019//2020-6 annual levy ordinance be approved as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Arnold,
Aye.
Dinsdale,
Aye.
Sutton,
Aye.
Farkapisi,
Aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Cheng, Beckwith,
Aye.
ayes have it.
Okay, LED lighting, page 37.
So I'm going to hand this over to Kevin here in a second, but let me set it up just briefly. One of the things that we talked about when we were working on the budget the previous fiscal year was that we have these LED projects that we need to do. But at the time, we decided, let's not put it in the budget because there were some unanswered questions. Well, as Kevin is geared up looking ahead and talked to different people, we realized, okay, there are some advantages to doing this fiscal year, and what I'm proposing is not adding anything new to the budget, but allocating some funds away from that adult services furniture space project to do these small projects. So we're talking about $24,000 in total, and there will be a cost savings. So not only will we get better incentives if we do it in 2019, which we still can do. Will annually save about $1,600 a year. So this is a project that will pay for itself over time. So, but Kevin, you want to talk a little bit more about it?
Sure. As you know, you can probably imagine, and we kind of talked about this a few months ago, how much lighting there is in these facilities. So we're going to do it in kind of phases. So this is kind of like the pilot phase to what we're doing. And in this phase, what we're going to do is the quiet reading room, and then Ryan's office, Marine's office, basically the perimeter offices, mainly because with this particular lighting we're going to put in, it has daylight harvesting technology in it, so the lighting will dim based on how much ambient light is coming in through the windows. So with the help through a consultant, we determined that would probably be the best place to start. There are some other challenges in some other areas, namely in the main floor area. There's an awful lot of lighting out there. And so that might take some time to kind of do that project, the village project. So we had initially slated to do the back of house, what I would call the back of house. It's all the offices of the staff and everything initially. So this kind of is starting that project off.
Does that include the kitchen?
In
In this
staff lounge?
phase?
Yeah.
In this phase, because it's a
Staff lounge,
perimeter?
correct. Mhm. Yeah. Now, the other part that we're looking at, and something that I considered since the 2011 renovation, was we have a multitude of rooftop air handlers that feed cooling and heating to several areas throughout the library. During that project, we didn't do anything with those air handlers. In other words, we didn't upgrade them because we had recently upgraded them. But the technology that we use to actually control them are actually older technology, and basically they're standard thermostats. Okay, so in the 2011 renovation, half the building is on a contemporary building automation system, and half of it's on old technology. So I can really only see half the building through that automation system and through its advancements in terms of control can really take advantage of how to control this building. Whereas the other half, which is majority of the public spaces, we have no control. They just kind of control themselves. So we don't really have a good feel or an insight as to how well we're actually managing that side of the building and whether we highly suspect that it's not running very efficiently. So I can't really tell how that is. So part of this is we're going to add in new technology, new thermostats that will help us take advantage of that. So that's something that we didn't initially plan on, but it's something that I've kind of had in the back burner since 2011. So in talking with these consultants, this would be an opportune time to take advantage of that.
Yeah, there's incentive to do that as well, so from Mercer Gas, so.
How much is the investment for the thermostat?
Sorry?
How much would be the investment for the renovation of the air handlers?
So it's just an addition, it's not a renovation. What we'll be changing out is the thermostats, and I think Ryan probably has the number.
Just over $7,200, and then the lighting is approximately $15,500, so you're looking at just over $24,000 for both projects.
And the lighting's just the portion we described, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's some zones that we're going to do. There's still other zones to continue to do, so this is gonna be a continual project that we're gonna concentrate on, probably across several fiscal years.
I was just gonna ask
Just
you
because
how
there's
long.
so much lighting we're talking
Yeah.
about, we're just gonna do it all in one project.
How many thermostats do we have in the old that need to be replaced?
We
Just-
have a total of 15 air handlers, okay? And they range in different sizes. So there's 14 total units that feed the open spaces. But 2 of those units, one is in the youth workroom, the other one is in, that feeds the teen vault, vending room, and the ladies' restroom. Remember when we did that upgrade?
Oh, my goodness.
So that system's on the bath system, so we don't have to worry about that one. The one in the youth workroom, that's on the baths as well. So the other handlers, so now we're down to 12. So it's a total of 12 units that I don't really know what's happening. Now, we do preventative maintenance, so at times we'll find out things as we do preventative maintenance, which we don't always want to find out after the fact. We want to find out those issues out ahead of time. These upgrades will help us identify those before.
Is there also energy savings to come
Yes.
from the?
And how that happens is in each one of these units, there's something called an economizer. And it's kind of a little damper that lets outside air in. So there's times where if we don't know what's happening with those dampers. So 12 of those, basically 12 of those systems can be opening and closing, and maybe they don't need to. The reason why they open is because we have to let fresh air in. So each one of those has sensors in them that will sense how much that needs to bring in fresh air. But if one's not talking to the other one, they could all be open, thereby letting in too much air, which might be too cool, or having to heat that cold air to bring that in. So with this system, we'll be able to kind of help
So
control
all the
that.
thermostats in the whole building will be talking to each other.
Yeah. And
Cool.
technology's at a
Cool.
place now where we can do that with wireless technology.
Mhm.
I had this priced out back in 2013 through Siemens to get them on the Siemens system, and it was like almost $70,000. So now with the technology that's available today, we can do it obviously a lot less expensive and still gain the same value.
Is that the vendor that you're getting this pricing still from?
I'm sorry.
Was that the same vendor that you're getting this
No,
pricing from?
no, this is a different
Okay.
program. Mhm.
Terrific. Can we make sure that we include a big thing about this in the
Mhm.
newsletter?
Going
I mean, we
green.
can talk about it, sure, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
I think it's something
It's a-
to
Mhm.
highlight.
Do we need a motion for this?
well, I just wanted the board to be, I mean, because we're not asking it for a change to the budget, but we're reallocating some funds. I wanted the board to be aware.
I would like a motion, because the budget is the staff's marching orders on what to spend the money for, and if they're spending it on something different, I want it memorialized that they have the board's
Go
approval.
ahead.
I move that the money directed toward adult furniture be reallocated toward thermostats and lighting improvements.
I'll second.
Point,
It's not all
point
of it.
point of information, just
Not all of it?
just a small
Scratch
amount of the
that.
money. $24,100.
I move that $24,100 previously allocated to adult furniture replacement be reallocated to thermostat replacement and LED light improvements for perimeter facilities.
Ooh.
Nice.
I don't have it all,
Nice.
but
I'll
it's in
second
here.
that. All right, any further discussion?
How about a second? Oh, you did, okay.
Second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Cool.
Thank you.
All right, year-end bonus, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Next
Year-end
slide.
bonuses for staff, we did discuss this previously, right? For Kevin, okay, that's what I thought.
We're at still $50 per person?
Yes, and typically the way that we have it in the budget is we round up a little bit, so the deduction, after the deductions, it turns out to be $50.
So I want to say this motion because I'm amending it.
Okay,
Ready? That the board celebrate WNPL's wonderful library staff for their service to our community, that we acknowledge their excellent work with the $50 per person staff bonus included in the current budget prior to December 31st, 2019.
I'll
I
second
second.
it. Oop, go ahead, Ann.
I just added that because if people reading it think that like
We don't
we're
know how
giving
much it
huge
is.
bonuses.
Yeah,
Right, right, right.
Of course, we would if we could afford it.
Any
Token.
discussion?
Thank you.
Okay, so I always write a note that goes with the bonuses on behalf of the board, so I'm gonna pass that around for your feedback. And let's have a roll call.
Roll call?
Yeah.
Okay. Farkapisi,
Aye.
Linsdau,
Aye.
Sutton,
Aye.
Kotsinis,
Aye.
Arnold,
Aye.
Chang,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye,
ayes have it.
okay. Treasurer's report, page 40.
Yeah, and this is something that's, I think the memo covers it. This is something that we're required to do annually. And this is something that, while it's prepared through Letterbuck and Amen, it's something that Andrea signs off on ultimately. And then once the board accepts this, then it will be filed at the clerk's office per the law. Andrew, you have any questions with it?
It all agrees to the fund balances at year end, that's pretty much all I checked. I mean, to our audited financial statements.
Who would like to make this motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right.
I'm on a motion
You are.
Yes, you
drive
are.
today.
You're just moving.
Okay, this is now, which one?
D.
D. I move that the board accept the treasurer's, oh wait, I'm not gonna make this motion.
I wondered when
can't
you
do
said
that,
you were
yeah.
gonna do it. I
I'm not
thought,
gonna make
oh,
this
I'm surprised you
motion.
said
Never
that.
mind.
Okay, I'll do it. I move that the board accept the treasurer's report of annual receipts and disbursements for filing.
I'll second.
Discussion? Maybe we should have a roll call for this too.
Okay. Cotsinis,
Aye.
Sutton,
Aye.
Lindsay,
Aye.
Arnold,
Aye.
Chang, Farkapisi,
Aye.
Beckwith.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, items for next month? Anything? Okay. I move that the board enter into executive session 5 ILCS 120C1 to discuss the performance of the executive director.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain. 7:21.
Tutorial.
I thought there might be a quiz on LED as well.
So it's
8:15,
8:15?
Hi. All right, let's see, where are we now? It is 8:15, we are back in session. Public forum, anyone want to speak in public forum? Okay, announcements, anybody?
The Friends of the Book Sales, December 7th.
Yeah. Is it at 9 till 1 or something?
I think it starts at 10.
Oh, does it?
Does anybody know? I know it doesn't start first thing. They have a few
I
minutes.
almost was it was 10.
Mm.
Yeah, because they get it set up early.
Okay. Okay, anyone want to move to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. Thank you. Yes.
Hey,